The final one, that is a fast case. If that's the final cross-examination here. Okay, we already know that. Bitter was his drink. I mean, tea is bitter, right? That's only natural. 'Twas the tea alone that passed my lips that laid hour, not else. I can believe that also. Why again were you outside this bloke's window?
Hold it!
But the windows of that house have all been filled in. A historical artifact of the now defunct window tax. Yeah, you're right there. All bricked up horribly. But as it happens, there's a little part of the brickwork in the bottom corner that's been opened up. I was looking in through that gap. Yes, there were a few bricks loose, weren't there? And for some strange reason, a couple of bars of soap lined up on the ledge outside as well. I don't like going around poking my chin in other people's business, especially on freezing cold nights. Right. But that's my order, so that's what I keep doing. As long as there's breath in my body... What's with all the theatricals today? Out of interest, Mr. Meterman. After the accused had left and returned on his lodgings, did you see the victim leave the room at all? No, he never left. He was in that room the whole time as far as I'm concerned. And we can therefore discount the possibility of suicide. Huh? How can you be so sure of that? The police carried out a thorough investigation of the scene and found no receptacle for the poison. And since we know the victim didn't leave his room and hence didn't dispose of the poison's container himself, it's clear that this was no attempted suicide. Only the culprit could have removed the receptacle. Oh yes, lucidly explained, counsel, thank you. It really was, you can't argue with the logic.
Hold it!
Let me stop you there. Mr. Natsume left your room at 11 o'clock, but it wasn't until after 2 that the poison made you collapse. That amounts to much more than 3 hours of missing time. What is he doing? If the defendant had really put the poison into your tea, that 3-hour window of time is something you're going to have to explain. Gladly, there's an easy task. What? I did drink of the tea, not while my guest that's Terry, but after he took leave of me. Faith, 'twas stone cold, but at 1 hour post midnight, verily were my lips parched.
Objection!
That doesn't sound normal. Nay, 'tis quite ordinary, sire. After all, thou wouldst recall our fiery debate. Amid such argument, there'd be no time for fiery tea. Romeo and Juliet again, and who was stronger? Mr. Shamsby, in summary, allow me to confirm. Did you not come here with the intention of naming your attacker? But of course, my liege. It was the stooped lover of words that attempt to shuffle me off this mortal coil. We all know what that means. I guess Soseki-san did not drink the tea because he is such a gentle soul, and since Shamspeare can't afford any tea, he gave all the tea to Shamspeare. Something like that.
Hold it!
So, you didn't have any kind of evening meal, dinner, supper? Huh, fire on luxury, fire on gluttony. To eat thrice daily is but a waste of time. Sorry? I would that my belly were full no more oft than the sun doth rise. Wow, most heroic eating habits, I must say. Night and day do I fill my hours with learned study of the great bard and playwright. Hence, Is it that there doth not in my chamber be than the costumes of mine art? That would appear to be the case, as even a rodent was found starved to death in your room. Now I think of it, it's not just food that was conspicuously missing from that room, is it? I don't recall seeing a single play or script anywhere. For I have devoured them all. You've eaten them? Every word be within my skull. Didst thou imagine otherwise? Right, that wasn't misleading at all. Now, could you turn around, do you think? Which brings us to the conclusion. The only way the poison could have passed the victim's lips is in the tea. Huh? I can't find anything. Okay, let's just press on everything then.
Hold it!
To be clear, by neighbor, you are referring to the defendant, Mr. Natsume. Oh, indeed, sire. Perchance thou wouldst that I call him the man from upstairs? And at what time did the mustachioed Nipponese visit you in your room? Our meeting was promised to the hour of 9, and lo did he come to tender a gift of fragrant tea. Details which are in accordance with the defendant's own testimony, yes. And we were broiled in such a literary debate as history hath not seen before. By which I presume he means the discussion about who was the stronger, Romeo or Juliet. I, Shakespeare, did play the part of young Romeo, whilst my neighbor played the fair Juliet. Each of us dressed, as would our characters be, to bring weight upon our merry experiment. I dare not imagine the scene. Frailty, thy name is a woman. What? Canst thou imagine how dismayed I was? Yes, I had heard of the Eastern art of jiu-jitsu, but never did I dream 'twould be a skill practiced by the comely maiden. Juliet beat Romeo up? This is not helping our case. I believe the court has heard enough about your earth-shattering literary debate. Perhaps you could reiterate your statement about the tea. My liege, I am thy servant. Gladly I would do thy bidding. But Mary, bitter was his drink. Okay, and the only thing we haven't pressed on is the last one.
Hold it!
You say a short little round-backed Eastern fella, so you can't be sure it was the defendant then.
Objection!
This leads to nowhere. How many other short little round-backed Nipponese with a moustache do you think there are in London? Well, of course, it's only a narrow gap and it was quite dark, so I didn't notice the moustache. But he showed up at around 9, so I'm pretty sure of myself. And when the person you saw arrived, did he and Mr. Shakespeare drink tea together? Nah, sorry, I couldn't say. Why not? Because I couldn't see into the room all that well, could I? But what I did see was a silhouette of that little round-backed fella wearing a pretty dress. Then the pair of them started some kind of wrestling match. I tell you, I didn't know what to make of it. A wrestling match, Greco-Roman style. I suppose that was the Romeo and Juliet championship battle getting underway. Mr. Meter Man, allow me to confirm one final time. Apart from the accused, can you state with certainty that no one else visited the victim on the night in question? No question, Gasman's honor. Oh! Oh! Who was that? My lord! Don't tell me they want to decide the verdict. Oh goodness me, yes, Mr. Foreman? I've kept my mouth shut and listened up to now, but this has gone on long enough. Are you all with me? Yeah! Yes! Are we to understand that you ladies and gentlemen of the jury are in agreement? That you've reached a unanimous decision? Too right we have. Are you all with me? Yes! Wait, no, the defense is in the middle of a cross-examination. To be honest, I was holding out a bit of hope for you, young man. Especially after you identified those few hours that followed the accused leaving the victim's room. Yes, the 3 missing hours, as you put it. But in the end, what difference do they make? None, as far as I can see. And since that's now apparent, there's really no reason to delay our decision any longer. Like I was saying before, if I don't take 5 bob home with me tonight, the missus will blow her top. Blow her top? What does that even mean? Hey, what's that? Sorry, I didn't quite catch what you said. Very well, let the court be apprised of your decisions. Ladies and gentlemen, you will state your leanings as to the defendant's culpability.
Guilty!
Guilty. Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty.
Oh boy. All of you? Well, it would appear that the jury is indeed unanimous. So, this time at least, it seems justice will be done. All's well that ends well, as they say. This calls for a toast, I feel. To the guilty being punished. Get up, Mr. Naruhodo, please. The trial isn't over yet. What do you mean, Mr. Sato? What about the information I found in this encyclopedia of British law I have? That obscure right that belongs to the defense in these situations? Remember? A summation examination? Yes, that's right. We don't have a jury in Japanese courts, of course. But here in a British court of law, if we can reverse the decisions of a majority of the jurors, we can force the trial to continue. This trial can't end now. Whatever it takes, I just can't let that happen. The defense moves to invoke its right to a summation examination, my lord. Why am I not surprised at my learned Nipponese friend's inability to admit defeat? You choose to cling desperately to some archaic rule you barely comprehend instead of accepting the truth. Certainly no other defense counselor in recent times has exercised the right to a summation examination. Because they all know that once the jury's mind is set, it cannot be altered. Nevertheless, the right remains and must be upheld. The defense counsel's request is granted. The court will proceed with the summation examination. Thank you, my lord. Are you and your fellows prepared, Mr. Foreman? Believe me, my lord, we know all about this young lad's tenacity. And we're ready for it. Very well. In that case, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I hereby call upon each of you to state the grounds upon which you find the defendant guilty. The victim may not be well off, but he's a noble man, and straight up, there's no reason to doubt the man. Well, I do declare the good gentleman has no reason to lie. In fact, I think he's rather splendid. And just look at the accused by comparison. He's Japanese, stoops all the while, and has a moustache. Very fishy. But Gregson also has a moustache. There's no evidence to suggest the gangling actor is a fraudsman, for now at least. I really don't care, I just need this trial to end quickly. 3 hours of missing time is nothing when you reach my age, you know. Nothing at all. is nothing, really. I knew it. Every single one of them seems completely convinced. It would seem that all the jurors have come to the conclusion that Mr. Shamspeare is a fine, upstanding, and honest citizen. If you ask me, they've all been bewitched by his strange theatrical movements. And sadly, nothing Mr. Natsume has said appears to have registered at all. Well, here goes. Let's not forget. I've pleaded with the jury on Soseki-san's behalf before, and it worked, so you never know. Before we begin, it might be an idea for me to remind you how exactly a summation examination works. Oh. Well, you're still very new, after all. We've only done this a couple times. No, I don't need a refresher. No, Susato-san. No, don't bother. Thank you for the kind offer, Mr. Sato, but I'm not dumb. But I've been through plenty of these summation examinations already now. I think it's important that we don't delay the start any longer than necessary. Of course, I understand, and I'm quite sure you're right. If you're confused by anything, you can turn to me for advice. I'll be here for you. Oh, Susato-san. The key to this is really listening carefully to each juror's statement. Finding two that are contradictory. Game! Why are you explaining this to me? I just said I don't want an explanation. Without further ado, please, counsel, proceed, please. Yes, my lord. He's a noble man and straight up. What does that even mean?
Hold it!
Well, there are plenty of people in London who seem noble but poor. Couldn't some of them also be liars? I've no doubt about it. Like that shaky client of yours, for example. Absolutely not. Mr. Natsume is no liar. Look, the point is, the only thing that passed the victim's lips that night was the Japanese man's tea. When you take the gas man's testimony into account as well, the truth couldn't be any clearer. Oh well, that's alarmingly logical. But let me be frank here, I'm a gentleman with a gentleman's values. If it turns out that the old Shakespearean chum is a rotten liar after all, I'd gladly change my decision about the defendant. And I'm sure my fellow gentlemen on the jury would do the same, isn't that right? Well, yes, perhaps, though I don't see it happening. Eh, what's that? Elderly gent on the end here, you know. You have to speak up. Oh, I don't really care about all this nonsense. I just need this trial to be over. How many gentlemen do we actually have on the jury then? Alright, sir, I may hold you to that. Don't forget what you said. Huh. At least he doesn't seem to have a grudge against me any longer. Do we have anything? This guy is just complaining about mustache. Honestly. Can I get a real reason from you again?
Hold it!
You keep talking about needing to take home some money. What's that all about, sir? Well, that's what it's about. What's that? I'm talking about the derby at Hyde Park, aren't I? It was the Queen's Cup last week, wasn't it? A derby? It was a dead cert. That's the thing. I couldn't lose, so I took my wife's secret savings, like. But then that homeless old mare went and did the unthinkable on a stupid Finnish lash. Oh dear, I think it's clear what happened, isn't it? That's the day the missus uses her savings for a trip down to pub. So come on, let this business lie now. Just give it up. No, that's not going to happen. You don't have an actual reason? Oh my god. And you, what's your reason? What do you really mean by that, sir? Well, I'm not one to bounce, but I get up at 5 every morning, I do. At 5? You're a really early riser then, aren't you? Yeah, I guess old people like to rise early. My grandparents also rise very early. What's that now? I said you're an early riser, aren't you? Oh, well, I wouldn't say that. I mean, I like to while away the hours in the evening reading books as well. But by about 2 in the morning, I'm usually too tired to go on. Wait, what? 2 in the you sleep at 2 in the morning and you rise at 5? You only have 3 hours of sleep? He sleeps at 2 in the morning and gets up at 5. Oh my, that means he only has 3 hours of sleep. What's that, dear? Only 3 hours of sleep each night. That's right, you see. 3 hours of missing time. Like I said, it's not much, is it? This really isn't helping. Oh my goodness. The key to summation examinations is identify contradictions. Right. Well, the last 2 jurors are kinda useless. Yeah, alright. Thanks explaining to me again how a summation examination works. Thank you, Sasato. Somehow or other I have to turn this trial around. They all think Shakespeare is a honest and noble guy. Why do you think he's rather splendid?
Hold it!
Are you saying you believe the man to be trustworthy because he's rather splendid? No, that's not what I said. The point is the man is the victim here. What reason would he have to lie? And yes, he is rather splendid. So you say, yet again. Meanwhile, the man who stands accused behaves so suspiciously, it's exhausting to look at him. I'm afraid he's not splendid at all. Splendid logic there, madam. Thank you so much. That was useless as well. A mustache, really? No, not one of those things is a reason to find a man guilty. But he is fishy. There's no point dancing around the fact. He's Japanese, he has a mustache and he stoops. You see, you arrive at the conclusion in just 3 steps. 3 steps like a waltz, in fact. You know, the more I think about it, the more this trial seems like a dance. You seem to be several steps ahead of yourself though, and you are on the wrong foot. No, there's nothing but circumstantial evidence here, and there's no actual proof of the defendant's guilt. But the victim's version of events is backed up by what the big-chinned man next to him says, isn't it? 1. He saw the Japanese man there. 2. He saw no one else. And 3. He saw the Japanese man there. Oh. Okay. That's another 3 steps. Oh, this really does seem more and more like a waltz, doesn't it? Well, I mean, 2 of them are the same thing. What are you saying? It's just 2 steps. Right, and the prosecution will waltz its way to victory, if I let you speak much more. You seem to be a reasonable lady.
Hold it!
A fraudsman? What do you mean by that, madam? It really is a most tiresome problem for the company, most irritating. What? You're from the gas company? We can be absolutely certain that a customer is stealing from us, but without hard evidence. We can't even threaten to take action for fear of being sued. I'm sorry, you've lost me a little there. Who are you again? I'm the wife of Augustus Altamont, owner of the Altamont Gas Company.
Good gracious, Altamont Gas, you say?
Gas is the future of energy in this country and around the globe, but proper handling is essential. As I'm sure our employee from the East End branch office would be the first to agree. Absolutely, Lady Quimby. Gotta be used properly. Altamont gas is the best in the world, of course. So he dances to her tune. I think we may have solved the mystery of the bow from earlier, Mr. Naruhodo. Right, he bowed in deference to his employer's wife, did he? So, would I be right in assuming that the reason Mr. Meterman was watching what Mr. Shamspeare was up to in his room? I'm afraid that there's no end to the lengths the population of the East End will go to in order to steal our gas. So I really have no choice when the company identifies somebody as a possible fraudsman. But I dispatch a worker to watch the suspect day and night. We're very thorough in our investigations. So you mean Mr. Shamspeare is... I wouldn't come out and say it in public, but you can finish that sentence with a grubby little gas thief. Oh. You have noticed the public gallery in here, have you? The eye of man hath not heard, the ear of a man hath not seen. Faith, wouldst thou wound me with thy words were I to let them penetrate the skin? But seraphs hear no insults, only choirs of angels in song. We may not have evidence yet, but my workers won't stop buzzing around you until they find it. And when they do, you'll find yourself blasted back to your angelic heights in an Altamont gas explosion. Holy crap. This woman is dangerous. Mr. Shamspeare has been stealing gas. Well, that's just a conjecture. Nothing concrete yet. I wonder, juror number 4, if you wouldn't mind adding that information to your statement. My pleasure. Was it the bit about ripping the thief apart you enjoyed? A little before the part about abject violence, if it's not too much trouble. Yes, of course. This could be it. This could shift the balance. Okay. So, we will pit her with the foreman. Mr. Foreman, please.
Objection!
Those two statements clearly contradict each other.
Good gracious, to whose statements do you refer, counsel?
Juror number 1. What are you yelling about, lad? I presume you've heard juror number 4's statement, made by the wife of the owner of Altamont Gas. Well, yes. The victim, who you claim to be a noble, straight-up man, in fact turns out to be a common thief. So the good lady says, but there's no evidence, is there? You and I both heard them say as much. It's true, we don't have evidence as such, just yet. But the claims aren't baseless, you know? What? You heard me. Seeing as this operation has already been compromised, I would suggest that the court hears testimony from our East End branch office employee over there.
I'll do whatever you say, my lady. Gasman's honor.
Juror number 1, you say you're a man of your word. Holy crap, that punch on the table fit perfectly with the music. Was that intended or just a coincidence? If I could show that Mr. Shamspeare was a liar, you assured me that you would reconsider your decision about the defendant's guilt on your gentleman's honor. Yes, I did say that. And as a man of honor, I'll hold to it, as I'm sure the other gentlemen of the jury will. Me? Oh, well, yes. Now that we found out the man's a liar, perhaps we ought to consider the matter further. Well, if I'm perfectly honest, I haven't heard half of what you've all been saying. So if this means you recap a few points, that would suit me down to the ground.
Oh, no, I'm not having any part of it. I want to try it over and done with.
In that case, I shall change my leaning. So, Mr. William Shamspeare, if that is your real name, We of the jury demand to know exactly what kind of a man you really are. That's 4 jurors, 4 for not guilty. Yes, Mr. Naruhodo. Victory!
Order! Order! Well, this is quite extraordinary, I must say. As a result of the defense's summation examination, the jury's leaning has changed. Now only 2 jurors say guilty, whilst 4 say not guilty. I therefore declare this court to be in a state of disaccord, and order the trial to continue.
You have spoiled the bouquet, Mr. Shakespeare. The ladies and gentlemen of the jury now find they are unable to trust you, the victim. But you gods will give us some faults to make us men. So God meant me, I do swear. This gas man speaketh that which concerns him most, not but gas, not but thin air. Ay, it burneth bright a while, but it hath no substance, and it doth reek foul.
Oi! What did you say? Right, good Mr. Shakespeare, that you deny the allegations of gas thievery?
Most heartily, my lord. Hast thou forget? I am as a seraph, an angel. Noble of mind, sweet of nature, and verily, honest of heart.
Ah, you flowery mouth, pompous beanpole, cause I haven't got the evidence yet.
Mr. Shakespeare, if in fact you are not noble of mind, sweet of nature, or honest of heart, if you are a liar, then your testimony should have no sway in this courtroom.
It is my considered opinion that at the present of time no other possible culprit of this crime has been identified, or testimony heard by the court thus far heavily implicates the defendant. In short, it would not be unreasonable at this stage for me to rule on the case.
Oh no.
However, in light of the fact that the jury has expressed concern about the fidelity of this witness, I believe it would be inappropriate for this court not to pursue the point further.
Objection!
I assure you, my lord, that would be a waste of the court's time. The gas and this case are unrelated. Juror number 4. Yes? Didn't you say before that although you had no hard evidence to prove this man has been stealing gas, you have strong grounds for suspecting him? That's right, we do. Don't we, worker?
Absolutely, Lady Quimby, Gasman's honor. Very well then, we will hear your testimony now. You will tell the court precisely why you believe the victim, Mr. William James Shakespeare, has been stealing gas.
Oh.
Yes, my lord, it will be my pleasure. On the Altamont gas.
If I may, my lord.
Go ahead, madam.
This worker's testimony may have a significant bearing on the good name of my husband's company. And therefore, I should like to take the stand alongside him in a supervisory role, if you wouldn't mind.
Oh, yeah, sweet as honey. Yeah.
What's up with him?
Very well, as an exception, I shall honor your request.
Thank you, my lord.
Wait till the boss gives you an earful. Oh, it's gonna sting, you mark my words. So you will both testify before the court on the subject of the illegal consumption of the Altamont Gas Company's fuel.
Yes. Is that clear, my good man?
Clear as Altamont Gas, my lady. Which is the clearest in the world.
Do you think the gas has gone to his head, Mr. Sato? I think the man is just a very dedicated employee, Mr. Naruhodo.